Welcome back to MatheMagics. I'm Amber, your friendly neighborhood math teacher. To start us off, let's review those word problems I left with you last time about adding and subtracting whole numbers. Number 1, you missed 13 questions out of 89 on a test. How many questions did you get correct? Another way to phrase this question would be, how many more questions did you get right than did you get wrong? So we are looking at subtraction. Going to set up the subtraction problem, 89 minus 13. Again, emphasizing the importance of lining things up correctly and starting from the right side. 9 minus 3 is 6. 8 minus 1 is 7. We got 76 questions correct. Number 2, you are traveling 111 miles in an airplane from San Diego to Los Angeles. Then you will travel 225 miles from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. What is the total distance of your trip? We're looking for a total. There's only two math operations we use for a total, and that would be addition or multiplication. Since we're not looking at equal amounts, this is just going to be an addition problem. So 111 plus 225, lining things up. Starting on the right side, 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 2 is 3 again. So my answer is 336 miles. Again, notice that I am labeling my answers every time that I answer the question, because again, that rule of thumb, if there are words in the question, there need to be words in my answers. Our new lesson for today is going to be focused on multiplying and dividing whole numbers. Again, something a lot of you will say can easily be done with just a calculator, but it's important that we know how to do these things by hand as well. So we're going to start off with multiplication. Again, there is some lining up that needs to happen here, but I just need my back numbers to be lined up. And then I start multiplying, and I always start with the first number. Oh, probably shouldn't use the red pen here, huh, guys? Let me change the color. Okay, let's see. Oh, right, color's up here. So anyway, back to the problem. I need to start with the first number. Let's get rid of this. And you're going to multiply it first by the back, the number in the ones place, and then by the first number, the one in the tens place. So 7 times 4 is 28. I put the 8 down here, and I carry the 2. And then 7 times 8 is 56. Then I add this 2, and I get 58. When you move on to the next number, so I'm going to erase this. When you move on to the next number, so now we're going to look at the 3. Again, we're going to multiply by the 4 first, and then by the 8. You want to add a 0 down here. And the reason for that is because this 3 is not actually a 3. This 3 is in the tens place, so it's actually counting as a 30. But instead of multiplying by 30, we're just going to add a 0 to the end of the answer, because that accounts for the fact that we're in the tens place. And then we can just multiply by the 3 like normal. So 3 times 4 gives us 12. Put the 2 down here, and the 1 carries. 3 times 8 is 24. Then we add the 1, and we get 25. Now the last step to these types of multiplication problems is now we have to add these two answers together. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry my 1. 5 plus 5 is 10. Plus that other 1 is 11. Carry that 1 again. 1 plus 2 is 3. My final answer is 3,108. The other type of multiplication you're going to see, this one is not written to start right away. We have to rewrite it first. Again, sort of lining things up. And notice this one has some bigger numbers, so we're going to have to do a little bit more work now. Again, we're going to start with the 6, and we're going to multiply it by every single one of these numbers. Then we'll move on to the 3, where we're going to add a 0, and then we're going to move on to the 2, and we're going to add 2 zeros there, because this 2 is in the hundreds place and is acting actually as a 200. Starting off, 6 times 9 is 54. Put the 4 down there and carry my 5. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Carry my 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Now I'm going to get rid of that carries because I don't want to get them confused as I start working on the 3. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my 0 so I don't have to worry about that. 3 times 9, 27, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay. Again, I want to get rid of that number that I put up there because a lot of people will leave up their carried numbers and then they get confused. They used a carried number from a previous digit when they're not supposed to be. So now we're on the 2, and that's in the hundreds place. So I have to add 2 zeros before I start multiplying. And then I go to 2 times 9 is 18, carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and then 2 times 4 is 8. Notice I'm keeping everything really nicely lined up because after I do the multiplication, now I have to do the addition. And I have to make sure the correct digits are lined up together when I go to add. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 1 plus 7 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 5 is 10. Plus 8 is 18, so I have to carry a 1 here. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 3 is another 8. And then 1 plus 8 is 9. So my final answer is 98,884. Now we're going to work on division. What I want you to notice right now is this, the way it's written to most of you, this looks like a fraction. But a fraction is just another way to write a division problem. In fact, this line right here, the fraction slash as some people call it, is actually literally just a division symbol. This can be read as 588 divided by 84. So I'm going to set up the division problem. 588 goes inside my division, 84 goes on the outside. And I'm going to start by asking myself, can I do 84 into 5? Well, 5 is way too small, it's not going to work, so I'm going to extend it. Can I do 84 into 58? 58 is still not big enough, so I need to extend it even more. I need to go all the way out to figure out how many times 84 is going to go into 588. Now, a lot of you out there are going to be like, why can't I just use a calculator? These numbers are way too big. But there are actually some tricks to help you figure out what the numbers are going to be, at least give you a close estimate so that you can get a close enough number that even if you're not exactly right, you usually only have to check 1 or 2 numbers before you find the correct one. So if I think about 84, 84 is really close to 80. And 588, if I was rounding, that would be really close to 600. So I can think about how many times does 80 go into 600. And actually, if I just slash off the last zeros there, I'm really thinking about how many times does 80 go into 60. And it goes in 7 times, because 8 times 7 is 56. That's the closest I can get. So 7 is the number that I want to try times 84 to see how close that's going to get me to 588. 7 times 4 is 28, so I have to carry a 2. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 2 is 58. And look at that, it actually is exactly 588. So 7 goes up here. The 588 goes down here. I subtract. I get exactly 0. That means no remainder. And I have no other numbers to bring down. Sorry, my handwriting's getting a little sloppy here. I have no other numbers to bring down, so I am officially done with the problem. Let's try another one. This one we've got 7,440 divided by 124. So what I want you to keep in mind is every time we're doing a division problem, we go through the same steps. We figure out first how much can we divide. Then we do some sort of multiplication. Then we subtract. We bring down the next number. And then we repeat until we're done. So you keep just going through these same steps every single time. So again, the first step, I've got 124. I can't do it into 7. I can't do it into 74. So I have to do it into 744. And I got to figure out how close I can get. So again, let's use some rounding to give us an idea of where to start. I'm going to round 124 to 100. And I'm going to round 744 to 700. That goes in exactly 7 times. So I'm going to try 124 times 7. I'm going to see how close that gets me. Notice this part up here, that's the dividing part. I'm figuring out how much I can divide, and then this part is the multiplying. So 124 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Carry my 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. I'm going to carry a 1. And 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. So this is actually too big. I don't want to use that. So I'm going to try the next lowest. I'm going to try 124 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry my 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Oh, my first 4 didn't write very well. I'm going to carry a 1 here. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Again, exactly 744. I'm getting very lucky here right now. So it divides in 6 times. That's step 1. When I multiply the 6 times 124, I get 744. So there's step 2. Then I subtract those. I get 0, and I bring down my next number, which is another 0, and I have to repeat. How many times does 124 go into 0? Now, a lot of students I've worked with stop here. They think they're done. But here's the rule of thumb. Whenever you bring down a number, you absolutely have to put a number up here. So even if it cannot divide, that means it goes in no times at all, and our number for nothing is 0. So you do have to put a 0 up here. That's my dividing. When I multiply 0 times 124, I get 0. I subtract, I get 0. I have no more numbers to bring down. I have no remainder. So I'm all done with the problem. My answer is 60. Whoops. It's supposed to be a box there. Now what we're going to try is division that is going to have a remainder. So I'm not going to get so lucky with things working out perfectly evenly as I'm doing this problem. So I've got 3,215 divided by 430. First step, I need to figure out how much I can divide. I can't go into the 3, I can't go into 32, so I got to extend and go all the way. Oh, I can't even do 321, so I got to extend all the way. I have to go all the way to 3,215. I'm going to use rounding here again. I'm going to round 430 to 400, and I'm going to round 3,215 to just 3,200. I'm going to knock off these zeros, and really I'm thinking about how many times 4 goes into 32. That's 8 times. So I'm going to try 8. I have a feeling it's going to actually be a little too big. I'm probably going to have to go with 7, but I want to see where it gets me. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry my 2. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 2 is 34. So it is too big. It's really close though, so I know that the next number down is going to get me there. Again, the purpose of this trick that I'm showing you is that you will never have to check more than 1 or 2 numbers. Sometimes I see kids, they have no idea where to start. They end up checking 5 numbers before they get the right one, and it just wastes so much time that they could be spending doing other things. So 430 times 7. 7 times 0 is 0 again. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry my 2. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. So there we go. That's what I need. When I divided by 7. And when I multiplied, I got 3,010. Then I subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. I don't have to put that front 0 in there. Okay. 2 things I want to point out to you right now. Looking at this number should always, always, always be smaller than or equal to the number you are dividing by. If you ever get something that's bigger, that means you picked the wrong number up here. You could have gone bigger here. The other thing I want to point out to you is I do not have a perfect ending of 0, but I also have no other numbers to bring down. So this becomes my remainder. Ah, come on. What is happening to my pen? Ah, it is not wanting to write for me today. So how I'd write my final answer is I'd say the answer is 7. With the remainder, we just write on R, 205. There we go. All right, so I'm back. I got the pen working. It needed a little charging. And now we can dive right into some word problems. We've got 24 equal payments. For a go-kart, we have to pay a total of $840. How much is each payment? No keywords in this, but we are taking a total and breaking it up into equal parts. So that is keying us into us wanting to do division. So I'm going to take that 840. I'm going to divide it by 24. And I can start by going ahead and dividing into the 84 part of it. If I think about my little rounding technique I've been using, I can round the 24 to 20, think about how much that goes into 80, rounded from the 84, and that would go in exactly 4 times. Now, since 24 is bigger than 20, I know this 4 is actually going to make my answer too big, so I'm going to go ahead and start by going one number down, and I'm going to try out 3. 24 times 3. 3 gives, 3 times 4 gives me 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. So I put the 3 up here. 72 goes down here. And when I subtract, I'm going to get 12. So I know I chose the right number because, again, this number is smaller than my divisor. I got to bring down the next number, the 0. So now I'm looking at 120. Again, if I round that 24 and think about how much that'd go into 120, that would be exactly 6 times. But with that 4, it's going to make it too big again. So I'm going to try out 5 and see how close that gets me. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And that so nicely gets me exactly at 120. So I've got no remainder here. That means we'll be making equal payments of exactly $35. Our second word problem, we've got a school lunch contains 12 chicken nuggets. 95 students buy the lunch. What is the total number of chicken nuggets sold? When we're asked for a total, we know we're always talking about addition or multiplication. Since we are talking about equal groups here because every single kid is buying exactly 12 chicken nuggets, we want to use multiplication. So we're going to take the 95 students, multiply it by the 12 chicken nuggets that each student is getting. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. I'm going to get rid of this here so I don't get confused. And I'm going to put my 0 down, extra 0 down, because now I'm in the tens place. And then 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 9 is 9. Add those two together. I get 0, 14, carry my 1, and then 11. So that's a total of 1,140 chicken nuggets. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do for you today. I've taught you how to do the multiplication and division. I've showed you how to apply it to a couple word problems. And now I'm leaving you with one. So we've got a 301-foot high swing at an amusement park that can take 64 people on each ride. A total of 8,983 people ride the swing today. All the rides are full except for the last ride. How many rides are given? How many people are on that last ride? So start by figuring out if you need multiplication or division to solve this problem. Write it down, work it out, and then come back for the next video where I'll give you that solution. And then we're going to start learning about powers and exponents. Just to give you a little preview about what's coming up, I'm sort of leading up to doing order of operations. We talked previously about addition and subtraction. Today we hit multiplication and division. Next time we're hitting powers and exponents. So it's all kind of leading here to give you a little bit of an idea of where I'm going. So keep a lookout for that, and I'll have my next video posted soon. Have a great day.